Now, how many people here have gone to a party or some place like that and fell in love with the food that they just tried? So much so they start walking around asking people if they try this and wondering if they had this delicious food. That's how it was at my mom's Christmas party about 2 years ago, and I had a slush cake. It was so good and so delicious that now it's become one of my favorite desserts. When I found out that she made this, I asked her how she found out about this recipe. She told me that she found it out from a coworker who heard from a coworker, and so on and so on. Now, it's hard to determine who is the creator of this and how long it's been around, but one thing for sure is that it's been around for I would say about 20 years from research that I found, and there's many different recipes and variations of how you can make a slush cake, so it's to your personal preference. For those of you who don't know what a slush cake is, it is a 4-layered cake with the bottom layer being a nut layer, followed by a Cool Whip / cream cheese mix, then by a pudding of your favorite choice, finally followed by a Cool Whip top layer. I've had many different slush cake flavors throughout my time, but my favorite has been butterscotch. I've also seen through recipes on the internet and through eating myself that there's chocolate, lemon, banana cream, vanilla, and a white chocolate slush cake, which is a seasonal thing around Christmas time. I've found that recipes on cooks.com, iFoodTV, goodrecipes.com, and Recipes for the Best are some of the best websites to describe what the slush cake recipe should look like. The recipe I'm familiar with comes from my mom's coworker, and there is many different recipes and quantities of ingredients and components that make up a slush cake, but the most consistency that you must have is the 4 layers, or 6 layers as I found that some people do, which includes an additional Cool Whip layer and an additional pudding layer to make it a 6 layers. The recipe for a slush cake, the crust consists of 2 cups of pre-cooked flour, 2 sticks of margarine, 6 tablespoons, or butter, which I found butter tastes better with the slush cake, 1 cup of finely crushed walnuts, the thinner the crust, the better, 2 cups of confectionery sugar, 16 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese, which you should take out of the refrigerator a few hours before in preparation to make it easier to crush the cream cheese, 16 ounces of Cool Whip, 2 packets of flour or instant pudding, 3 cups of cold milk, and I found that 2% works best. To prepare the crust, preheat the oven at 375 degrees, melt the margarine or butter in a saucepan, then pour that melted margarine into a bowl. After that, add flour or crushed walnuts. Stir well until all these 3 ingredients are mixed together and they look kind of like a peanut butter consistency. Next, pat into the bottom of the pan or cake mix, either 9x11 or 9x13. You do not need to grease the pan. Bake at 375 degrees for 15 minutes and cool repeatedly. With a beater, beat the cream cheese until smooth. Add the confectionery sugar and mix. Then add 8 ounces of Cool Whip. Spread the mixture over the crust. Next, with 3 cups of milk, I add to the instant pudding mixtures. Do not follow the pudding directions as they state for 2 cups of milk per packet, as you are aiming to get a thicker pudding consistency. Once you have achieved that, spread over the cream cheese layer. Top it with the remaining 8-ounce Cool Whip and refrigerate. I found that adding the Cool Whip right before serving is actually a better effective way because it enhances the cake's taste. I've also found that using brand name products works best when making a slush cake. As you'll see from my slush cake that I created, the top nut layer is right here, followed by the cream cheese layer, then the butterscotch layer, and the whipped cream layer.
Make sure you get patty back.
Okay. Sorry.